Slight tilt in axis suggests a spaceship. Or a space station. In orbit around a larger... No! This is an outrage.
Greetings, Doctor.
Madam Inquisitor, I protest.
Frequently, yes.
But he's me. A future version of me. Are you telling me that the Time Lords revisited their own time stream and rewrote the law?
Recorders, delete that last section of transcript. Doctor, compose yourself.
He's either a future version of me or he's something else.
Doctor, we meet again.
Hi everyone, TardisGuy123 here, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Trial of the Valeyard. Now this is a bonus release from the Doctor Who range from Big Finish, and I got this free with my 12-month subscription, which started with the Rani Elite, I believe. So that's going to last me right up until the Planet of the Rani, actually, funnily enough. So anyway, let's dive right in to Trial of the Valeyard, and it is Colin Baker by Alan Barnes and Mike Maddox, and it's got Linda Bellingham and Michael Jaston in it. And it's refusing to stand, which is odd. It's usually the DVDs which refuse to do that, but anyway, then up here we have Classic Doctors, Brand New Adventures. Now it just says Brand New Adventures on the more recent covers. I think it's about start of 2014 and 2013 when they changed that. And then full cast audio drama down there. That's the same as it normally is. And you've got the old 50th anniversary logo, which is now just kind of like the pure silverish, whitish one. And Big Finish down there. Quite a nice cover here, actually. I quite like the line down here, and then you've got this interesting off-white background with all these lines and whatnot. That's quite nice, and also how this goes into that, and these two symbols actually do mean something fairly important, I believe, for the story itself. And then you've got a dock there with the Doctor in it, and the TARDIS heading towards the trial platform thing, the space satellite from Trial of the Time Lords, and that's quite an iconic scene from the Trial of the Time Lord, actually, where the TARDIS goes into that. So now let's take a look at the side. Doctor there, Doctor Who, Trial of the Valeyard, and then you've got the Roman numerals for 7, I believe that is. Yeah, that's 7, and Big Finish written down there. And on the back here we have Trial of the Valeyard and the verb, and only 4 cast members for this, and the 4th one, John Banks, doesn't really do that much in it, so it's mainly a 3-piece one, to be honest, with a little bit of an additional help from John Banks there towards the end. So open it up and see what's inside. Only one disc for this one, which works quite well for the story. I don't think it would have done too well as a 2-disc story, and got some other 6th Doctor releases back there. Put this back in, and let's take the booklet out and have a look. It is just a 1-piece of paper booklet, so 4-page booklet, not the luxury 8-page booklet that we usually get, although they're starting to get rid of those now, unfortunately. Anyway, here you have Colin Baker, Linda Bellingham, and Michael Jaston there, and Michael Jaston again. It's an okay booklet, I guess, but as a bonus release you don't really expect too much from it. It's just nice to have it anyway. And of course I technically got this free, so can't complain too much there. So, what about the story itself? I think one of the most important matters to address first is, do you need to watch Trial of the Time Lord to understand this? If you know kind of like a big plot point from Trial of the Time Lord about who the Valeyard is, which I'm sure practically everyone does, then you should be fine with this story. It may spoil some other bits from the Trial of the Time Lord, but you don't have to worry about not understanding this. It'll just spoil some bits. So if you're fine with that, then you can go ahead and get this if you don't have Trial of the Time Lord. might enhance your enjoyment of it a little bit if you are Child of a Time Lord, but it's not too important to understand the story. It's just may spoil Child of a Time Lord a bit. So anyway, what about Trials of Valeyard itself as a story? Well, let's talk about the start for the first part. It's a very long kind of like pre-credits sequence. It's only one episode. It's not kind of like 2 parts. It's just the one episode. Actually, I'm going to check the disc quickly because usually around. Yeah, as you can see on the disc there isn't kind of like parts 1 and 2 or anything like that. It is just the one full episode. So an hour worth of that, and it does take a while to get to the pre-credit, to get to the title sequence. Sorry, it's a very long pre-credit sequence, which is a bit like New Who actually, especially kind of towards the end of Matt Smith's era. You did have extremely long ones there, and this one lasts about 8 minutes, I believe, which is a bit odd. I was wondering, is it going to come, or are they just skipping that? I don't know. Did I miss it? But yeah, so that was quite interesting there, but I think it works quite well with what it builds up to, and Colin Baker pretty much carries the first 3 or 4 minutes of this. There is actually no lines for anyone else. He's kind of like talking to people, but they don't have any lines. It's a bit difficult to explain there, but it is just a wonderful thing of how he carries that so well, and it really is. Big Finish really has expanded on him a bit, and given him a lot more, made him a much better Doctor than he was on TV. And he's probably the one who's come out of Big Finish much better than he was at first. He's the one who's benefited from it the most, I feel, along with Paul McGann, because he's just been given loads and loads more stories than he ever had before with just the one TV movie, and he's now got Night of the Doctor too. But yeah, so the 6th Doctor in this does an excellent job. Colin Baker does an excellent job carrying those first few minutes, and then carrying the whole story pretty much, because he doesn't have a companion in this. I guess you could argue that Linda Bellingham is kind of serves as companion as the Inquisitor, but not so much. And or you could even argue that Michael Jaston as the Valeyard serves as his companion. I do like that kind of like dynamic, how it keeps shifting, because you've got these 3 characters, and 2 of them gang up on one, and then it kind of like switches around a lot, which one to gang up on which, and sometimes one will just sit out for a while and let the other 2 talk. It's very interesting how that dynamic works, because it's very much limited to one place for the most part of the story, and it does kind of like carry that quite a lot. It's not as good on the second listen, because you don't have some of the intrigue to carry you along, but it still works quite well, I feel, that bit. So for the first listen it is very strong. For the second listen, because you lose some of the mystery to what some of the twists are in the story, it isn't as good then. And then there's the question, does this answer the question who the Valeyard is? That big question. Well, you'll just have to get in and find out. However, I believe it will probably be expanded on in the 6th Doctor, The Last Adventure, which is coming out this September. And this very much now feels like a prequel to that, in a way, because it looks like it's going to be the same format of kind of like the 1 hour full episode. So yeah, that's quite interesting. Only that's going to have a much bigger cast for those episodes. So yeah, going back to Colin Baker for a second here, 6th Doctor is a bit brash in this at times. It's not annoying, it's not as extreme as it was on TV, but he is a bit brash and a bit bold in this, so I'd place it probably not long after Trial of a Time Lord, to be honest, just because the Doctor's attitude in it. However, his attitude is perfectly justified, but anyway, that's not the point too much. Linda Bellingham, who sadly passed away, I think it was the beginning of this year actually. Feels like longer than that, but this year has gone pretty fast. But anyway, yeah, Linda Bellingham, she does a wonderful job as the Inquisitor, and as I said before, it's that interesting dynamic of how they kind of gang up on each other and then switch around and whatnot. And then you have Michael Jaston as Valeyard. He does a wonderful job with that character, he truly does, and there's very much kind of like conflict. It's very much kind of like this interest in the Doctor's part, and you can tell that the Valeyard loves the Doctor, not knowing who he is. That's all very good there. It's very hard to talk about him without going into spoilers. However, I will say Michael Jason does a great job playing this villain, playing this performance. So yeah, overall, Trial of the Valeyard is a good story. One thing I will say that annoyed me a bit is that it feels very empty, and while it is just these 3 characters, I do feel that there is some bits that could have been expanded upon a bit more. Maybe get John Banks, because he was obviously there at the day to do those lines. Maybe he could have played the Castellan or something, just giving him a couple of lines there, just to make it feel a bit more broad, a bit more kind of real, as if there are actually other people there, because it very much feels empty in the room, even though, you know, there are supposed to be other people there, because you don't hear any kind of like actual talking. You hear kind of like some mutterings in the background, I believe. You don't actually hear any actual lines from them. It is a bit unfortunate. It makes some things seem a bit unreal, because as I mentioned the Castellan earlier, he is a character in this, technically. No one plays him, he's just mute. He just doesn't say anything, which is a bit odd, to be honest, I feel. And yeah, some other points about this story. As I mentioned earlier, it does get a bit dull at times, because it is limited to that one location for the most part, and because there are these kind of like 3 characters. Yeah, not that they are bad actors at all, they do carry it as best they can. However, I do feel that because it's kind of like limited to this one location for a whole hour pretty much, it does get a bit does get a bit dull at times, and you need those plot points thrown in to shake it up a bit, and not kind of like plot twists, sorry, to shake it up a bit. And because you can see those plot twists coming when you listen to it the second time, it isn't as good, unfortunately. So I think that's pretty much all I've got to say. Yeah, let's just go ahead and rate this. I will rate it a 7.5. It's a neat little release. I do enjoy listening to it, however, it's not kind of like the best release there is out there. There are a lot of better ones, and yeah, I'd say get it if you enjoyed Trial of the Time Lord and you want to find out more about the Valeyard, and if you want kind of like a prequel of sorts to whet your appetite for the 6th Doctor, The Last Adventure in September. So yeah, this will probably do quite nicely for that. Maybe get it in late August or so beforehand. But yeah, so Trial of the Valeyard, I enjoy it, but as I said, could have been better and not as good on the second listen. So thanks for watching, everyone. Next up will be the review of The Ark in Space. So I will see you all then, but until then, bye everyone.